Hi there. Welcome to episode 12 of Sweet Skein of Mine. My name's Amanda and I'm coming to you from Fredericton, New Brunswick. This is a podcast about knitting. I'm also an indie dyer, but pretty much a podcast about my knitting journey and what I've had on the go, what I'm gonna make, a little bit of my own yarn. So yeah, anybody coming back, thanks for watching. So yeah, last time I podcasted was a few weeks ago, so I've gotten a few things finished and I've got some fun things to tell you about. I finished. I had been speaking about the Vertices Unite before and had mentioned the color palette that I wanted to do it in. So I dyed up some worsted yarn. I had seen a friend of mine, Emma, she had done the vertices in worsted and it turned out beautiful. The pattern, it called for fingering, but I just wanted something maybe a little quicker. And the colors I decided to use were all kind of based on this colorway, which is mine. It's Donut Kill My Vibe, and it's just a whole bunch of kind of different browns, and then there's hints of fuchsia throughout. So the lighting is terrible, sorry. Anyway, so based around this colorway, I dyed up these three others, and again, all in worsted. So I did this gold, this washed out brown, and this pretty fuchsia. So I did do the smaller size and I did it on worsted. So it didn't turn out to be a very big size, which is okay, because I decided to knit my mother-in-law a shawl for Mother's Day. So I think smaller is better for how, like, she's a tiny framed woman. So I think this will be perfect for her. But it turned out really nice. I loved knitting this. I'm gonna knit it again for myself in the fingering weight, but oh my goodness, it was so quick and easy. Like, this wasn't a complicated. Stephen West patterns can kind of have some little funny details in there that you have to sometimes troubleshoot, but not this one. No, it was perfect. I love this goldy color. I think that turned out so nice. So yeah, it's still a really good size, even though I made the smaller size and did worsted weight. Yeah, so she's gonna love it. So I'm gonna start one next week for myself, but in the fingering weight. Yeah, so I have one finished object to show you, and two, sorry, I forgot. I started this, I needed to I mentioned I went to the Knitter's Frolic, so I wanted to have some vacation knitting on the go. So I picked the Windswept shawl by Homespun House. Sorry, this pattern is in black and white, so I don't know if you can see the detail, but anyway, I literally finished it today. So our power went out last night for hours. So I sat on the couch with an LED lamp kind of like propped up on my boob, knitting for hours. So Michelle, yep, I finished it. She's gonna be like, what? Anyway, it's so pretty. So it starts out, you start here, and yeah, it's just kind of like this pretty almost basket weave. I don't know if that's what you'd call it. And it just kind of grows, and then it needs to be blocked. I just finished it. But then, yeah, some new techniques I learned were the knit one long, but I didn't do it right at all. Like, I'm looking, when I got going, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing this right at all. But I don't care. I kept all the mistakes uniform. I tried to be like straight across the board for what I was doing wrong. I know what I was doing wrong, but I was too far gone to fix it and to care, and I think it still turned out really pretty. So here's this like eyelet floral bottom, and then a picot bind off, which I had never done that before. It was really time consuming. It's hard because you're at the last row and you're ready to be done. And this, oh my gosh, this took forever, the picot bind off, but it's really pretty. It's got a really nice effect. So I don't care that I didn't do the bottom properly. I saw like a Bob Ross meme on Instagram the other day, and it said something like, it's not a mistake, it's a happy accident. So there's my happy accident. Once it's blocked, it's gonna have better size to it. But I loved this pattern. This part especially, I loved this. So I dyed this yarn up on DK weight, and I used an Addy 4mm, and it flew. And I had some people ask if I was gonna put this colorway in the shop. So I did, and it's just like a really pale tonal peach. And I put just a few subtle little speckles on it. Like I didn't try to speckle the whole skein. So here's what it looks like. And I had an Instagram friend, Lucy, name it. She named it Peach Melba. I don't really think that color's showing up very well, but it's just a soft, soft peach. And just to show you how subtle the speckles are, I took it apart just so that you could see like the whole skein is pretty just tonally peach, and then it's got like a little punch of speckles here and there. So I dyed up 3 more DK and put those in the shop today. So it took 2 full skeins, and this much is left of 1. So yeah, if you want to have a nice pattern to follow, that actually it went by fast. The Windswept by Homespun House. And like I said, not many people would make this eyelet floral mistake that I made, but it turned out like I said, I kept the mistake going. And yeah, so I'll block this tonight, and it's gonna have a 1/3 of a size bigger for sure. It's really pretty though. I love peach right now. So that's all my knitting that I've conquered in the past couple of weeks. And yeah, but last Thursday, 7 of us, myself and 6 ladies, went to Toronto. We went to the Knitters Frolic. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun. We left on a Thursday at noon and got back on a Sunday night. The actual Frolic was on Saturday, but excuse me. Look at my cute mug. It's a dog eating out of his doggy dish. Dan got me. I love big mugs and I love pottery. So yeah, so we arrived Thursday, and yeah, just in time to, Michelle took the time and scouted out this awesome Airbnb on Wellesley, which kept us central to everything. So we had this 3-bedroom condo, and it was perfect. We got there, and we had a liquor store right across the street, so we went right there. And I thought someone was at my door. And we got talking to the guy that worked at the liquor store, and he ended up knowing family of one of the girls that was with us, and we got chatting. So he recommended this restaurant, Sambuca's. If you're ever in the Toronto area, and I don't know if anybody from Ontario is watching and has been there, but Sambuca's on Church Street. Oh my goodness, we had the best meal. So that was night 1. And we got to bed pretty early. We were kind of pooped, but the next morning we got up bright and early, and headed right to Romney Wools on Queen Street. And so yeah, this was yarn shopping number 1. And we all decided Thursday night that our goal was to find, one of the girls that was with us, Leslie Jane, had made the Hipster by Joji Locatelli. This guy right here. and it is beautiful. So once we saw hers, we all had a purpose to shop for. It's awesome. So if you've seen the latest episode of Espastrico, they both made them too. And this pattern, for whatever reason, it draws you to want to buy an organic color. And so we all had an idea of what we wanted to shop for. So when we get to Romney Wools, I loved it there. I've been there once before in January when a few of us took our teenage boys to Toronto to go see a Raptors game. And we walked by it. I ran in for like 5 minutes and grabbed like something just so I could get something. And it was a little guy, like it went into my Cozy Memories blanket. But this time we went, I don't even know how long we were there, like definitely an hour and a half. Like we just kept looking and looking and looking. And all of us, like I said, had in mind an organic color. So this is going to be my hipster. It's the Artfill DK, Americana DK, 100% wool. And the color is antique gold. I absolutely love it. You can tell I have a gold, definitely a love for this gold color. So this is gonna be my hipster. I'm probably gonna start it this weekend. I've got to go to Moncton for a volleyball tournament, so this will be great hotel room knitting. So I conquered my hipster color and kept shopping and knew I wanted to bring my mom home a present because she's a crazy knitter like me now. And I found her this and I loved it so much I got it for myself. This is in the Ancient Arts and it's blue spruce colorway. So it's another DK worsted. I have got so much stash yarn that's like fingering weight but like in fun colors. So I really wanted to get some DK and worsted. Anyway, it's absolutely beautiful. So if I love this hipster, I could see myself, if I enjoy doing the pattern, I can see myself doing it in this color too, because like white t-shirt and jeans and flip-flop kind of shawl. So, and Mom loved it too. So that was my Romney experience, and all the girls scored something. We did well, and then we parted ways and kind of decided to like shop the Queen Street thing, and then I paired up with Leslie Jane, and then we get a text from Michelle and Nancy, and they had found another yarn store because we only had one on our like let's conquer this today, and had a dinner reservation for 5:30, so we were kind of keeping it tight in the afternoon, not venturing too far from each other. So they found Yarns Untangled in Kensington Market. So we took a cab and went to meet them, and they were on a patio across the street. We had the most beautiful weather Friday. So we sat out, I knew that was gonna happen. So we sat out in the sun and had a couple of craft beer. A couple of the girls had some sangria. And then we went to Yarns Untangled. And it's so funny because I had no intentions of buying any more because I just bought 6 skeins at Romney. And I just have to tell you, my son has a physics teacher who is a hoot. So she started off the school year by saying, there's 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and you will have physics homework, rain or shine. So we get a kick out of the fact that she said that. So here's another certainty. When you think you're done shopping yarn and you've had a couple of drinks with like your yarn besties in beautiful Toronto and you go into another yarn store, you will buy more. There, number 4 certainty. So I went in and, oh my gosh, I love this so much. This yarn makes me really happy. Ta-da! The colorway is Punch. And it's worsted, and I love it so much. I hope it's showing up. It's like fruit punch. It looks really red on the camera, but it's not. It's 100% superwash merino. It's dyed in Toronto, Robo Sheep yarns. There was a ton of the most beautiful colors. So surprise, I got more. And I also got my mom a really cute project bag. So there. That was Friday, and we still had to get up the next day and go to the Frolic. So then we were done. And what did we do that night? We went to Earl's. That was another yummy supper. And went back and just chilled. We had a beautiful condo and lots of space, so we were able to kind of like just hang out and knit and watch TV. We watched Carpool Karaoke. It's so funny. If you haven't seen it, you have to watch it. So that's what we did on Friday night. So I got a lot of yarn on Friday. And then, looking at my stash, we went to the Frolic. So the doors opened at 9, but we went there super early. We got there, I think we were in line at 10 after 8, and thank goodness, because we were already like maybe 20, 30 people deep, and it wasn't like Friday. It was cold and rainy, but we were pretty much the first big group of people that got into the Frolic. And I had no idea what to expect, and I know those kind of crowds of like bags and pushing isn't really my thing, but because we were there so early, I did avoid a lot of it. And my first booth that we went to was the Purple Pearl, and I've never been to the store, but we knew that they were gonna have like a really good haul in their booth. So that was the first spot I went to. I feel like I was like the 5th person looking at their yarn because it got really, really picked over. They had awesome deals and really, really good selection. So I got this. Some Julie Asselin, the Merletto. Colorway, this makes me so happy, this colorway. I don't know why I'm such a geek, but it's gray. It's called London. Anyway, it's 75% merino, 15% cashmere, and 10% silk. It's going to be beautiful. So my friend Sarah has a pattern. I can't remember the name. I'm gonna have to get her to remind me. Anyway, I know what I'm doing with it. And it's a huge shawl. So I got 3. And they were like, they had special prices for the Frolic. So that was nice. And so that was the first thing, the first booth I stopped at. My second, my other agenda, I think I've mentioned, I want to make the Rose Cardigan by Andrea Mowry. And when she shows her picture, she has that cardigan. It looks like kind of boxy, and she has it together with like a wooden pin. And so I got a wooden pin. So for when I make that cardigan, I want to copy and do the same thing, just weave it in and kind of like close it together. Trying to see who's the Woodlot. Anyway, it was a beautiful booth. She had wooden buttons, a ton of shawl pins. Yeah, you could put them in your hair. I just knew I really wanted to stick, and I love it. It was in a darker brown and like a reddier brown. I just got kind of the natural. So I got that. Another booth that I went to that was adorable. I had a really, really hard time making up my mind for this one. It was the Little Red Kettlehead. And in their BFL base was this. I'm just going to show one. And it's so pretty. It's like this rusty red, and there's greens and almost a gold in there. So, but guess what it's called? Rhubarb. It is exactly like rhubarb. And so I believe in buying 3s. I have so many like 1 skeins that I kind of am disappointed I didn't have a 2nd or a 3rd. So I knew, just get them here, get them now, no regrets. So I have 3 rhubarb, and I love this BFL plumpy kind of base. So it's gonna make, I don't know, probably another squishy, yummy shawl. So I got that. And then lastly, I got this. I think this is so pretty. It has no colorway, but it's called Soft For You. And it's like a taupey, it's really tonal. And again, 3. There, that's better. You can see those colors. So, and this was cheap. Like it was, well, not cheap, inexpensive. For a merino cashmere nylon base, I think it was like $26, and if you bought 3, you got 20% off. They had like a, you know, good prices, so it didn't matter anymore. We were all like in a sweat, bags, going, what'd you buy? And it was like this so much. We took a picture. If you go on my Instagram feed, Sweet Skein of Mine, 7 of us put on our dining room table, which was a big table, all of our yarn. It was crazy. It was exciting. I've never been to anything like this before, so even though I did get overwhelmed sometimes, it was set up really well. Like really great space, lots of room, lots of selection. Like I kind of regret not getting a book, and kind of regretted not getting a pom-pom, but I'll show you something in a minute. But yeah, I mean, it was just fun, and we got excited, and so yeah, I bought lots. So just gonna figure out some patterns now. And anyway, and then here's something else I bought. I got some of those little cocoa knit little stitch markers. I have lots of big ones, but I love these little guys. You can see how small they are. They're just tiny guys. So I got that. Yeah, and so after the shopping, you know, a couple of us went to just go have a break at the little cafe, and we were this close to leaving. And one of the girls says, "Oh, let's have one more walk around just in case." So it was serendipitous because I went to wander around by myself. Anyway, I'm walking around, and all of a sudden Sandy, like Sandy by the Lakeside Project Bags, I watch her podcast and I love her project bags. Anyway, there she is standing there, and I reacted like it was like my aunt, like, "Oh, hi." And anyway, I was like, "Oh, hi, Sandy." She was so sweet. She is as sweet and gentle and as put together as she comes off in her podcast, if that makes sense. So I had a minute just to say hi to her, and one of the girls that was in our group had emailed Sandy and just said, you know, could you give us any shopping suggestions, any yarn store suggestions? She was so kind. She emailed June back with this whole all this information on where to shop and just some good ideas. So it was nice. And so I told her, I'm like, I'm one of those girls, that part of that group. And I had brought a skein of yarn just in case I ran into her, just to, I don't know, give her a skein of yarn. Why not? And so I ran into her, and she was so nice. So I gave her yarn, had a little bit of small talk. She had her Second Avenue scarf on, and it's so beautiful. So yeah, I want to make that too. Anyway, and then she gave me, after I gifted her skein of yarn, she gave me one of her enamel pins, her Sandy by the Lakeside pins. So it's a little patchwork project bag. Anyway, so that was kind of fun. Like I took a selfie with her, and another one of my girlfriends came along, and we got into a picture, and then she put on her podcast a little blurb about me giving her a skein and thanked me. So that was fun. It was just a great way to end it, because we were done. And yeah, so it was just a great weekend with all of us, like, you know, a couple, oops, earthquake. I knew a couple of these girls, but a couple I didn't know so well. And oh my gosh, I really developed some awesome friendships, and now we have a knit group. So it's nice to be tied together with this group of ladies and, I don't know, be our nerdy knitting selves, right? So that was my weekend in Toronto. It was so much fun. So I came home and I got home Sunday night. And what else did I want to, oh, I wanted to tell you about my wool swap. I had mentioned I did the wool swap. My box arrived on Monday. And it was extra fun because the doorbell rang first thing in the morning and my birthday was on Monday. So yeah, I had Heather, my wool swap partners from Ontario, she sent me a huge box of so many fun things. So I'm going to show you a couple of them, and I regretted not getting pom-poms at the Frolic, but she sent me pom-poms. So in one of my podcasts, I was showing you some of this beautiful cashmere Adam and Eve yarn that Dan had gotten me out west. So, pom-poms for hats, for cashmere hats. Love them. And I got more yarn. I love it so much. So I've never owned Miss Babs, and I've always heard so much about it, but she sent me this one. And the colorway's Hot to Trot. Is it showing? There we go. So I got this beautiful fuchsia, and it's in a DK weight. So more DK yarn. And the other skein of yarn she sent me, it's called Essence of Autumn. And it's beautifully rustic hand-dyed yarn. I don't know where it's from. It must be from Ontario. But it's a gilded merino. So it's got a little pretty speckle in it. Or sparkle, not speckle. But another really pretty pink one. I don't know if the sparkle's showing up, but I thought about double stranding this for something. I thought that would be really pretty. So, that's it. I feel like I've rambled on and on, but I was excited to share all the Frolic stuff that went on, and if anybody's ever interested in going, go. It's a ball. Like it's well organized and so much yarn. I feel like I didn't even get to some booths because it was so crowded, but let's face it, I didn't do too bad. I got lots of yarn, and so now I've got to come up with more projects, which I've always got a list of those I want to do. But hipster's next. I'm going to start the hipster, and yeah, I think I've showed you everything. Oh, I'll show you my Frolic bag. Another thing I bought at the Frolic was I went to the Sticks and Stones booth and got some of the Howling Hills stitch markers. I don't have them because I bought them and gave them away as gifts. But my wool swap partner is the creator of Howling Hills stitch markers. So I got some really cute ones. But they're gone. But I got this. Cute little project bag. Have yarn. Will Frolic. Super cute. These were like little $10 things at the table when you first walked in. I'm glad they had something like that. So we, the group of girls I was with, all got one. So we have a little souvenir. Anyway, hope all is well, everybody. Sorry, I feel like I'm really excited talking about this yarn. I'm getting hyper. And I am, that's crazy. But yeah, so I'll get the hipster started this week, and hopefully you guys are inspired to make one of these guys. I love doing the Windswept, love the vertices, gonna do it again in fingering for myself. And yeah, find a home for all of these guys. So happy knitting, happy Thursday, and I'll be back probably in a week or, no, probably 2 weeks. Seems to be like a good stretch of time, so I actually have things to show you. Anyway, peace out, happy knitting, bye.